Rutter, we probably haven't been in exactly this position before, but what is the formal position? We don't need a general election because we've got a new Prime Minister, but what's happened in the past?
No, because we've got a parliamentary system, the Conservative Party still has a majority of around 70, so we will only get a general election if either Rishi Sunak, for some reason, decides as Prime Minister that he needs to go and renew his mandate. Remember, we had those debates when Gordon Brown took it over from Tony Blair, whether he should go for an election or not. And actually, in some ways, the fact that he didn't go for an election then was seen as a bit of a sort of loss of face, actually, because he marched everybody up the hill and then decided not to call an election. Theresa May took over in similar circumstances after David Cameron resigned. She originally said she was going to rule out an election, then decided to go for it in 2017 to improve, she thought, her position in Parliament. Obviously, that didn't work. So there's no necessary thing. So we only get a general election either if Rishi Sunak decides to call one, or if Thangam's party can persuade sufficient Conservatives that they're so disaffected and share Paul's view that they vote with Labour in a no-confidence motion and the government falls.
Ian Martin, what do you think? Should Rishi Sunak just say, I want my own mandate?
I think, as you can see from the strength of feeling tonight, the Tories are going to be really lucky to get away with this idea that they don't have an election, such as the shambles and the disaster of the last, it's not just the last few days that have been very stressful, but just what they've inflicted on the country for the last year. I do, on the other hand, though, think that it's a bad idea immediately now, because I think the international situation is so precarious and the economic situation is so precarious that I don't think a 6-week general election campaign is a particularly good idea. And I think the country I think Rishi Sunak is going to have to level with people about how difficult the winter is going to be on the economic front, in terms of the war and the energy crisis. But I think by the time you get to the spring, through the other side of it, I think they will have to hold an election.
That's an interesting point, though, Robert Jenrick. Maybe not now, but don't have to wait till December 2024, do you?
The Prime Minister could choose to go sooner than that, but I think I was going to concur with Ian that when Rishi Sunak makes his remarks outside Downing Street tomorrow, I think he needs to be very frank and honest with the public about the scale of the challenge that he faces as Prime Minister, we face as citizens of the country, the economic context, the challenge to the public finances, the stress that public services are under as they're still in the long shadow of COVID. And I think that's the message that he will deliver, one of honesty, straightforwardness and seriousness of purpose in trying to tackle them and restore public trust in the government by being seen in time to be a highly competent and professional government.
All right.